I want to talk to you guys about a few important points on quadratic functions today. I want to focus mainly on the axis of symmetry, the vertex, and the y-intercepts. Okay, so a couple things. So I'm going to put one up here. So here is x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so there's our function. All right. So a couple things. Our y-intercept is where it crosses over the y-axis. Now we know this is the y-axis, and our y-intercept would be right there. Okay, it's typically a very straightforward point to find. Okay, so if they said what's the y-intercept, you have two ways of answering this. You can either just say 1, okay, or you can say 0, 1. It's always a point, but sometimes we just call it by the last number. The reason we call it by this last number is because if you take a look over here at our equation, it's always going to be whatever this last number is. So here, what's your y-intercept? You can either say 1, or you can give the full point, which is 0, 1. Okay. The next thing we want to look at is what's called the vertex. So this is your vertex right here. In the case of this parabola, your vertex is a minimum. It is the lowest point. So it's going down, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. It hits the ground. And then it's going back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Wherever it changes direction, that is your vertex. Okay? So your vertex is always a point. In this case, your point is -1, 0. Okay? So your vertex is -1, 0, and it is the minimum. Okay? So if they said, what's the minimum? Okay? Your minimum would be 0. That's as low as it gets. Okay? So coming down, coming down, coming down. What's the lowest point? It hits 0, and it bounces back up. All right. If I put this one over, let me keep another positive one. So say we gave you another one. We're going to give you this one here. This is x squared minus 5x minus 6. Now again, your vertex is going to be a minimum. So here is your vertex. Okay. In this case, it is not integer answers, it's decimals, okay? When they say what's your minimum, you only want the second number. You only want this, okay? Because again, the 2.5 is how far you went over this way. That really isn't your minimum. Your minimum is how much did it drop. It dropped by -11.25, okay? Again, what's your y-intercept? Your y-intercept is right here. Your y-intercept would be 0, -6, or just the -6, okay? All right, now, in some cases, it's going to be a maximum, okay? In this case, since your parabola is negative, there's a negative out in front, it's going up, 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 hits a maximum, and starts coming down, 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 down. So, if they said, what's your vertex is still 1, -1. Now, they can't ask you the minimum because this doesn't have a minimum. It just kind of keeps going and going and going and going. But they can actually say, hey, what's the maximum? And your maximum in this case would be -1. How high did it go? Went all the way up to -1. All right? So here, again, they said, what's your y-intercept? Your y-intercept is 6. And count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good? Okay, in this case, what is your maximum? Well, I went over 3 and I went up 15. So your vertex is 3 across, 15 up, and what's your maximum? 15. All right. Except for this one, again, what's your vertex? Well, your vertex is going to be 0, 0. What's your minimum? 0. What's your y? What's your y-intercept? 0. Okay, so right here, when this point goes straight through the origin, that's going to be 0. Now, if I moved up 5, that's all going to kind of change. What's your minimum? 5. What's your vertex? 0, 5. And what's your y-intercept? 5. If I have something like this, again, your maximum is going to be -9. Your vertex is going to be, again, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 0, -9 is your vertex, -9 is your y-intercept. Okay? So the only other question you're going to be asked today is what is your axis of symmetry? Now your axis of symmetry is pretty easy to find. If you can find the vertex, you can find the axis of symmetry. They said this. They said, what's your axis of symmetry? Well, your axis of symmetry is -1. The only thing you need to put in there is x equals. So if I said x equals -1, that's your axis of symmetry. It's a vertical line that goes to that point. So all you need to say is what x is equal to. So for this one right here, what's x equal to? X is equal to 1. We put x is equal to 1, and that will be your axis of symmetry. What's going to fold it in half, okay? So if you guys are having a problem answering the questions in IXL, that's probably your problem, is that you need to write x equals, because it is a line, it's not just a point, okay? So I'll pause this. I'm going to go to IXL and show you guys how to do a few of these. I'm going to set you guys free to go ahead and do them by yourself. Okay, so let's look at a couple problems on IXL, things that they're going to ask you. So they said for this one, what's the y-intercept? Okay, so your y-intercept is right here, right? It's where I cross over the y-axis, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 0, 4 because that's what I like to answer. Hopefully IXL will take that as an answer, and they did. Okay. Here, what are the coordinates of the vertex? So here you need to give a coordinate, right? So where is it? It's right here. So that's -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to say the coordinates of the vertex are -1, 8. Okay. What are the coordinates of the vertex? Well, it looks right there to be the origin. So it is 0, 0. Okay, so these are the types of questions they're going to ask you. What's the y-intercept? Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So -5. I believe you can just write -5. You don't need to put the actual coordinate. And that's fine. Okay. What's the equation of the axis of symmetry? Well, my axis of symmetry should be right here, right? This is the kind of folding line. Okay. Now, again, if you look at your vertex is 1, 10. All you need to do is say x equals, and then the first part of your vertex, 1, right? 1, 10. Okay? But you do need, it says the equation of the axis of symmetry. So you need that x equals. Okay, and there's you right there, okay? What's the maximum value of this function? It is right there, so it's 0, 4, okay? Here, though, you only want the 4. How high up did it go? 4. Okay? So again, what's the minimum value of this function? Well, the lowest it drops down to is 0. Okay? So again, if you guys want to give this a try, have at it, and let me know if you guys have any problems, okay? All right. Thank you.